Bradley Beecroft was a proud policeman who signed up to serve and protect. But the highway patrol officer found himself on the wrong side of the law after racing to help an injured colleague. The force said he was reckless, but Bradley has no regrets.
All I ever wanted to do was be a copper.
He served with honour until he says he was forced out.
I've been in the job 17 years. I've never sprayed anybody. I've never battened anybody. I've never tasered anybody. I've never shot anybody. I've got divisional commendations for arresting armed offenders with knives. Look, I'm filthy that they did this to my career. I'm filthy that they did this to my family.
So how fast is too fast when you're a highway patrol cop racing to save a colleague's life?
I don't care about the speed. 214.
Sunday, March 21st, 2021. He doesn't know it, but on today's shift, leading Senior Constable Bradley Beecroft's career will end.
There was movement in the background to have me out of the job.
Between Brad, who's driving, and his partner, more than 60 years of policing experience. They've just activated lights and sirens after an urgent call. Their colleague's been rear-ended while responding to a car crash on the Hume Freeway at Euroa, 2 hours drive from Melbourne.
The call came through on the radio from Lucas Paul, who's a colleague, and I know him quite well, saying that he'd just been hit. Lucas appeared dazed and confused and not easily able to diagnose whatever was wrong with him. Dazed.
Then radio chatter falls silent.
And I'm going as quickly as I think, as safely as possible, knowing full well that by the time I get there, I'm probably going to be doing the CPR.
Brad passes 77 cars during the almost 9-kilometre journey, hitting an alleged speed of 230 k's. Then the comment that would later haunt him.
The camera car on the left, I don't care about the speed. 214.
When Brad arrives on scene, he can't find one of his two colleagues, Sergeant Robin Reid.
And I had this thing in my head that she was under a car or stuck between cars.
Where's Robin?
She had to go.
That other job?
Robin wasn't in the car. Her partner, leading Senior Constable Lucas Paul, is visibly dazed.
Mate, what's hurting on you?
I'm just really shocked. Yeah.
Do you want to sit on this?
The crash scene's cleared and Brad thinks nothing more. But 9 months later, the veteran highway patrol officer would find himself on the other side of an interview room.
The charges that they levelled against me were reckless conduct charges. So, they carried 10 years in prison.
Brad held a gold-class licence allowing him to travel at unlimited speed, but it didn't matter. He was charged with reckless conduct, endangering life, dangerous driving and speeding.
It's not Hollywood. There's no on two wheels and screeching tyres or any of that sort of stuff.
The case went to court, and in July this year, a magistrate threw it out, ordering the Chief Commissioner pay Brad's legal fees. Vindication at last, except the damage had already been done. It could only be proven in court Brad hit a top speed of 207 kilometres an hour.
The camera car on the left, I don't care about the speed.
What I meant to say was I don't care about the speed camera. It is my practice, as I trip the camera car, call out my speed that I see.
You believe they charged you to get rid of you?
Absolutely.
An hour before the incident, Brad sent an email to managers voicing opposition about a new quota.
When we were doing the Hume Freeway shifts, we were supposed to pull over 14 motor vehicles. The purpose of it was just to fly the flag. They didn't want any offending and was only going to put members in harm's way, and ultimately that proved to be the case.
Brad's police partner first raised concerns long before that, claiming a law mandating motorists slow to 40 kilometres when passing police cars would cause a fatality.
12 months before 4 of my colleagues were killed on the Eastern Freeway, he'd sent out an email to the Chief Commissioner, then Graham Ashton, saying, this is what we're doing is not safe. As people approach it, they then panic. They see that the red and blues are on. If they don't see it clearly, they then hit the brakes.
Police initially claimed their investigation was triggered by the speed camera office, something Brad disputes.
It was created by my line command. The same people who I'd raised the safety issues with.
To add insult to injury, Brad says other police units responding that day drove faster than their licences allowed, but he says they weren't charged.
Why did I get singled out in amongst a dozen people to be given some special treatment? You know, I lost a 30-year marriage out of it. It damaged my relationship with my girls. I can't tell you how much it's cost me financially.
There were no complaints with respect to his driving. His offsider of 45 years who was sitting next to him had no complaints with respect to that driving.
Brad's lawyer, Ali Bezaroglu from Robinson Gill, he says they're considering suing the state over what they allege was a malicious prosecution.
Brad overtook 77 drivers on the way to a collision site. All of those drivers were at risk of harm. He should have been given a certificate of commendation for a job well done. Instead, he received nothing but condemnation.
If you could have your time over, would you change anything?
No. I still would have driven at the same speed. My only legacy out of this now is that hopefully other police members won't have to go through this, that they can refer back to this case and say, look, I acted within my exemptions.
Victoria Police declined to be interviewed, saying it had nothing to add given the case had been heard in court. What a sad end to a career.